Welcome to the Under Review podcast, where Saturdays mean everything, rivalries run deep, and the SEC reigns supreme. Hosted by Todd and Marty, two die-hard fans breaking down every snap, storyline, and showdown across the Southeastern Conference. From the swamp to the plains, between the hedges to the bayou, no team is safe when it's under review. Now back to the action with Todd and Marty.
Welcome back to the Under Review podcast, episode 82. Marty's not here, so we brought in Jeremy Burnham to help us this week. He's a little camera shy, so just carry on with me. A lot of games. A lot of good games played this week. 2:30 slate was probably the best slate of football that I've seen this year. You had Alabama, South Carolina.
That was scary.
You had Missouri, Vandy. You also had Texas?
Auburn.
No, Texas and Mississippi State.
Mississippi. No. That was 2:30 game.
Yeah.
That was 2:30.
There's 2:30 slate. There's a lot of good games, but as we always do, AP top 25. Any shockers here?
Honestly, I took Texas A&M over Indiana with that big win at Death Valley.
Well, also Indiana had a 63-point blowout.
That is true, but who did they play? Who did Indiana play?
Who did they play? Indiana, like I said, they played. They had 60. I know they popped UCLA 56-60, 56-6.
I mean, UCLA went on to Penn State. Penn State might be good for them.
That is because of that.
I don't understand the Georgia Tech falling back one spot, going from 7 to 8. I had a convincing win.
Yeah, they did play a good game. I think Ohio State definitely should be 1. I think A&M should be 2, and Alabama should be 3, and then Indiana at 4.
See, I'm an Alabama fan, but I would have left A&M at 3 and left Bama at 4 just because A&M went into the Death Valley, very convincing win, and then Alabama struggled in Columbus, sadly. But
yeah,
that's why my argument was to put A&M at 2. But
Georgia had a bye week. They're still 5. Oregon at 6. Ole Miss at 7 after a big win over Oklahoma. Georgia Tech 8. Vanderbilt cracks in the top 10 at 9. Miami at 10. BYU 11. Should be 11. Yeah. Notre Dame 12. Texas Tech 13. Tennessee 14. Virginia at 15. They're sneaking up in there.
that surprised me because they barely got out with a win this weekend.
Yep. Louisville 16, Cincinnati 17, Oklahoma 18, Missouri 19, Texas, who survived another scare there at 20, Michigan 21, Houston 22, USC at 23, Utah Utes at 24, and then Memphis cracking back inside the top 25 at 25. Virginia. They played good ball this season.
Virginia has played good all year.
That's Virginia too. Oh, yeah, they beat North Carolina.
They're struggling in North Carolina.
Yeah. They got Cal, Wake Forest, Duke, and Virginia Tech left on their schedule.
That Wake Forest and Duke's going to be Wake Forest is a good team this year. They're not ranked, obviously, but they're a nitty-gritty team.
Do you know who their quarterback is? Robbie Ashford.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I watched Robbie Ashford personally put up 200 rushing yards against Alabama a couple of years ago at Tuscaloosa. So he can do it. And Duke, I mean, they're one of them teams that that was supposed to be elite this year, but
with the standings right now, Georgia Tech and Virginia are 1 and 2, so they could play for the ACC championship game. I think that would be a great game. I think Virginia, like I said, Virginia has a chance to sneak in here to the playoffs. So it's going to be something we're going to keep an eye out later on during the season. But now we're going to throw it around the state. This week's around the state buys were Jacksonville State, UAB. Much needed bye for UAB. You got a new coach. Came off a big win at Memphis. Then they take another bye. So, I mean, they could. Memphis is back ranked again. So it's a quality win for UAB, much neither less. Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State's run game is phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
I seen where their running back was the number one rusher in the nation.
Is it Cam Cook or something like that?
I believe so.
He is pretty good. It's just with Jacksonville State, there's not a lot of teams. If you don't know, Cam Cook, 949 yards on the season. Right behind him, Amon Hardy from the SEC. So, Jacksonville State's run game is very top notch. So for the games, we got South Alabama beating Georgia State. Georgia State still, they're 1-7, not a great team, but neither is South Alabama. Troy, big win over the Raging Cajuns, 35-23. Alabama State beat Alabama A&M in the Music City Classic. Absolutely beat the brakes off. I think at halftime it was like 49-3. Run away with it. Chattanooga, as we predicted, beat Sanford 49.
This is really bad this year.
They got one win. That's it. Beat them 49-13. North Alabama did not show up for their beating against Austin Peay, 56-28. And then West Alabama drops another one, 38-41 to Delta State. Yeah, they played the number 14 in 2A or Division 2.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they lost one last week too.
Oh yeah. So the ranking or the record set: Troy 6-2, Sanford 1-7, South Alabama 2-6, Jack State 4-3. Alabama State 5-2, West Alabama 5-2, North Alabama 2-6, UAB 3-4, and then Alabama A&M at 4-4.
I will say Scott Cochran though, he's really for his first year as a head coach. West Alabama's never been an elite program to be 5-2.
Well,
his first year, that's pretty good.
Like I said, the last time I know two Super Bowl champions that played on their team. That's Tyreek Hill and Malcolm Butler. But besides that, they've been ranked this season. They've been playing very good ball. Two ranked teams inside the top 15 with Delta State this week, and then West Florida last week. They're top 5. They're looking good. So,
Same Troy, as always, staying at the top.
Troy clinches a bowl game this season.
Yes.
Second Alabama team to do that this year. Might be Jacksonville State can do it. Auburn can do it. It's a long shot for UAB.
I don't see UAB doing it this year, sadly. With a new coach coming in, it's a bunch of changes coming in.
But they can.
It's very possible.
Pull it up. Because, they sit in the American Conference. They don't really look like they're by far not the best team inside the American Conference. But that's obviously Memphis, who they beat. They beat Memphis. They're sitting at the bottom of the barrel right there with 2-6 Tulsa and 1-7 Charlotte. They got UConn this week.
That North Texas game,
North Texas and South Florida too.
That's gonna be 2 rough weeks there.
Back to back, both in Birmingham.
Yeah.
But I think they can win at UConn. They can win at Rice. That'll set them up for 5-4 at the time. They drop to 2 against North Texas, and South Florida be 5-6, and then maybe get a win at Tulsa, who Tulsa has a bad season this year. They're 0-5 in the conference, 2-6 overall. So maybe, just with a sliver of hope, UAB can do it. It's going to be really close coming down to it, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to step aside and take a word from one of our sponsors.
Hey, babe, we got ants.
Okay, kill them.
No, really, there's a lot of freaking ants.
Well, what do you want me to do? I ain't no expert.
Well, fine then. I'll call Tactical Home and Pest.
Go ahead and call Benjamin.
Hey there, this is Ben with Tactical Home and Pest, proud sponsor of Todd and Marty and their Under Review podcast. And can I just say that if the bugs I deal with had referees, I'd be called for targeting. Tactical Home and Pest, 256-592-2842, or visit me at tacticalhomeandpest.com.
Again, thank you to Tactical Home and Pest for all your pest control needs. Very much you can see them at our house, and y'all do as well.
Absolutely reasonable price and doing a great job.
So just call Benjamin Dominguez for all your pest control needs. Now we're about to look inside the SEC. Like I said, there were some great games this week. Everywhere from Auburn to Alabama to Vanderbilt even. The nightcap was a little bit iffy. If you like blowouts and no defense, a little bit of defense.
First half was a pretty good defensive show at first, and then third quarter was a beat down for Texas A&M, 21 extra points against LSU.
Yeah, that did happen. Kentucky, they hung around a little bit. They had a lot of miscues, though, and that's what hurt them. Go down 21-7 at the end of the first quarter into a Tennessee team that you need to stay on top of. You need to match their scores with your scores.
Tempo, has to make sure.
And if you don't do that, Tennessee will run away from you. And that's what we'll get into later. And Tennessee did run away with it. Bye weeks for Florida and Georgia as they get ready for the world's largest cocktail party this upcoming weekend in Jacksonville, Florida. And then our first game, we're going to do Auburn went into Arkansas this week. 33-24 as Auburn pulls off the victory. You got anything?
I would say it was a really good competitive game. First half, honestly, pretty much narrowed it down. But the second half, Auburn's defense really took control. I'd say got a little worried for them right there when Jackson Arnold threw the pick six right before the half. But Auburn come back with their own. I believe it was a 48-yard pick six of their own. Yes, in the fourth quarter, that really put the nail in the coffin there, and momentum really changed for them at the end of it there.
Well, I think Auburn finally got into a run game.
Yes, absolutely.
Jeremiah Cobb, 153 rushing yards. Yes, he ran the ball 28 times, but Auburn is known for running the ball. And Jeremiah Cobb, if we're going to give it to him 28 times a game, we're going to give it to him. 153 yards, 5.5 average, no rushing touchdowns for this week. Martin Madsen, 3 carries for 18 yards, a true freshman out of Auburn High. Ashton Daniels had 7 for 35. But the big thing here is Jackson Arnold got benched right after he threw the interception.
As he should have. I think, in my opinion, that's been a little overdue as far as getting your backup in there to try to change something up, because it's good as like I said, I'm an Alabama fan. But as anybody in the country can see, as good as receivers you have at Auburn with Cam Coleman, Singleton, and all that, I mean, you have options you can use here to mix in the play action, any type of thing there, because your run game is already that good. Plenty of weapons you can mix it in there. Why not take a risk? I mean, what do you got to lose with taking the? I mean, you still have your run game there, but why not take the chance with a backup quarterback? I mean, we used 2018 here with Tua and Saban putting in Tua there in the second half. I don't think we win the national championship there unless Saban makes that drastic move. And everybody at the time thought he was a little crazy, but I mean, big chance. I mean, big risk can sometimes give you big rewards. And I think that was for him coming in for the first game of the year, I think he had very good quarterback play coming in that situation.
Yeah, Ashton Daniels, he only went 6 for 8 for 77 yards. But Jackson Arnold, like I said, he went 7 for 12, 73 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Touchdown, he threw to Cam Coleman in the corner of the end zone. Was a beautiful catch, beautiful pass.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, with Jackson Arnold, you never know what you're going to get. It's a 50-50, and he usually comes up tails with him. But, Ashton Daniels also on the run game, 7 carries, 35 yards.
I liked Ashton Daniels in there because he wasn't forcing the ball, where I see Jackson Arnold forcing the passes sometimes, which leads to the interceptions he's throwing. He's trying to force it to where the ball shouldn't be going. But I feel like Ashton Daniels is a little bit more patient with stuff, and yes, with a lot fewer pass attempts, had more passing yards and more completions at the same time. So
I think what really sold me on Jackson Arnold is 3rd or 4th down, and one rusher didn't get touched, came right through the middle, and he didn't even look like he wanted to throw the ball. Which Alabama had this problem last year with Jalen Milroe. Holds on to the ball too long. And I think it's the same situation here in Auburn.
As one read, and if it's not there, it's instantly run the ball.
But Xavier Atkins, 13 tackles, 9 solos, 2 sacks, 4 tackle for losses, had a great game. Auburn with 3 picks. Kayshawn Pleasant with 2. He had the touchdown. And then Kinsley Falston had the last one. The turnovers for Arkansas inside the fourth quarter really hurt them. 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble loss.
17 unanswered points, I see there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that's my coffin.
Yeah. And most of them came off turnovers. I mean, again, Auburn has the same thing. If you don't hold on to the ball, you're going to get beat inside the SEC. And that's just what happened to Arkansas this week.
Absolutely. Oh.
Alabama went down into South Carolina with a squeaker 29-22.
I would say South Carolina won that whole game except the last 2.5 minutes, and that's when Alabama won the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a fumble, correct?
It was, yes, the last. Well, Bama tied it up, scored, get the 2-point conversion, tied the game up, and then
with Jeremy Bernard.
And then, yes, correct. And then South Carolina's driving their 50-yard line, and all of a sudden, Deontay Lawson makes a big play, strip fumble on the running back, and Big Ten Keenan didn't realize he was sitting on the ball, and Deontay Lawson had to let him get the ball, and then it just,
Was it Sellers that fumbled the ball?
Yes, it was Sellers.
Well, I was watching a little bit of it. Ty Simpson, 24 for 43, 253, 2 touchdowns. Jam Miller, 10 carries, 26 yards. But there wasn't really a run game for Alabama.
Absolutely not.
And that's what, I've said it multiple times here. If Jam Miller or Daniel Hill, or what's the other guy?
Daniel Hill had a great game.
Other guy didn't even get to play.
That's why I don't
Cam
know. Riley, I don't know if he was on discipline or something like that because he didn't even get on the field all night. But Daniel Hill had an absolute good game as far as a receiving back. He's I think like 6'2", 245 pounds. Like comparing to Derrick Henry, he's just a big guy.
6'1", 244.
That's what it was, 6'1", 244. But he had a great game. He had a couple real big catches with big gains. Jam Miller was, he had a couple of catches out of the backfield. That was really good plays. But as far as, I think he averaged like 2.7 yards a run, which is terrible. And it's just, you hate to see it because, you got to think of all the years Alabama's been known for what? Run game.
Back, yeah.
And this, it's like the offensive line pass blocking's been exceptional, but our run blocking has just not been there this year. It's just, I don't understand why.
No, with Jam Miller, you need a good back, but you also need a good spellback. I think Daniel Miller is a good spellback for Jam Miller. I think Cam Riley's a good spellback. Or not? Is it Cam Riley? No.
I really don't know.
Richard. I'm thinking Richard Young.
Richard Young is number 9. Who's he been at?
That's a good question. I don't know, but Jeremy Bernard, 3 rushes, 23 yards, and had a touchdown. Like you said, Daniel Hill had a big game, 4 catches for 76 yards. And then Ryan Williams kind of stepping back into the Ryan Williams from last year.
Big drop this week, though.
He did, but he's getting more catches. 7 for 72 receiving yards, no touchdowns.
Jeremy Bernard had one that side that Ty Simpson overthrew over the middle. That was a freaking would have been 50-plus yard touchdown.
Yeah. But
sadly, it was overthrown by Ty Simpson.
And then Bernard went 5 for 54 with 1 touchdown. And then Josh Cuevas, 3 for 16 and a touchdown.
Yes. Italian.
And then Bray Hubbard had a big game, 8 tackles, 2 solos, and 2 pass deflections. And then 1 interception from Deshaun Jones, 18 yards for the touchdown. Helps Alabama prevail in this game. But Lenore Sellers, 18 for 32, 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Also led the team in rushing yards, 18 carries, 67 yards, and 1 touchdown. Nick Harbour had 1 catch for 54 yards. That was an absolute beaut of a pass. He did underthrow him just a little bit, and I thought Alabama's defender was going to get there just in time. But Nick Harbour holds on, 54 yards for the touchdown. Only passing touchdown for the game. And then Peyton Williams, 6 tackles, 6 solos, 2 pass deflections, and the loss for South Carolina. I think Alabama needs to hold up. They're off next week. Then they bring in LSU for a big game there.
If you look at it, when I was watching College Game Day yesterday morning, Saban was talking about it. Alabama's been in a gauntlet here lately. We're playing all these ranked teams. He was talking back in 2010 how they had just come off that gauntlet. They were beat 4 ranked teams in a row. They went into South Carolina and then got their tail whipped, is what he was saying. He said, and it's not happened again this year. It was just, you have that gauntlet coming in. Your team's beat up. You're tired of traveling to playing all the good competition. And South Carolina about took advantage of the opportunity. And I would say should have, but mental mistakes and just slight mistakes is what cost them that big win.
Again, I think a big bye week will help them going into LSU
Absolutely.
week. The Saban Bowl is going to be inside Tuscaloosa this year. But again, it's not the same LSU team from the past couple of years. We'll get into that a little bit later. Tennessee goes into Kroger Field, 56-34. Kentucky, they tried. They really did. They had a lot of late hits later in the game, but just wasn't enough to keep off this Tennessee defense.
I didn't get to watch much of this game. 56 points. There's some issues going on with that defense in Kentucky.
Yeah.
34 points. That's
Cutter Bull had 5 touchdowns and 1 interception, 26 for 35 for 330 yards. Yeah. He was throwing it. There is holes in the Tennessee defense.
But the secondary's not as good as it was last year.
There were bigger holes in the Kentucky defense, but it was also Kentucky miscues. They had 2 fumbles, and then, like I said, that 1 interception. And then the turnover margin was simple. 3 for Tennessee, none for Kentucky. So +3 for Tennessee is going to win you every time. I think one of them were picked up for a touchdown. And Kentucky literally shot themselves in the foot.
Absolutely.
And playing from behind against a decent Tennessee team is not a...
Let's say great, but they're a good team. They're not great, but they're good.
Right. Joey Aguilar, 20 for 26, 396, 3 touchdowns.
Big game by him.
Yeah, he did. He had a great game. Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishop is the 2-headed backs for Tennessee. Star had 10 carries for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. Deshaun Bishop had 14 for 48 for 2 touchdowns.
That kid is a beast.
Yes, and also
Deshaun Bishop is a beast.
Yes, Chris Braswell II is also a beast. 4 receptions for 138 yards, 1 touchdown. Mike Matthews, 6 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Braylon Staley, 6 receptions, 105 yards, and no touchdowns. That's pretty much all their passing yards with 3 guys right there.
That's insane.
And then Edwin Spillman, 15 tackles, 11 solos, half tackle for loss on that defense. And like I said, Cutter Bull had a pretty good game. Dante Dowdell, 12 carries, 52 yards. And then Jason Patterson, 16 carries for 51 yards. They were out 2 of their running backs this game, which really hurt them because I don't think Jason Patterson gets a lot of running time or playing time as in the running back position. But 51 yards against a pretty decent Tennessee defense, I'll take that.
You hate to say Kendrick Law right there. Only one come from Alabama last year. I seen a very big future for Kendrick Law, and I haven't heard much on him this year. I seen he had a big play though right there.
Yeah, he had a 71-yard bomb touchdown, 2 catches for 103 yards and 1 touchdown was that 71-yarder. And then DJ Miller, 5 catches, 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kendrick, he's been playing good. Really using him on the punt return, kickoff return.
That was fast. Fast, big guy.
He tried to throw a pass this week. Wasn't pretty. But, it's a Kentucky team. They're in a bad situation. They're going to fire Stoops eventually.
I've always been thinking he's still well over his due stay there.
They're 2-5. All 5 losses have come inside the SEC. It's just a matter of time, and it sucks because I think he's a great coach. He's been there for 13. He's the longest tenured coach inside the SEC.
He is that.
13 years, but
I guess maybe an Alabama fan. My standards are different.
Yeah. With the NIL, though, you got to learn how to move with the portal.
Exactly.
And
I think problem over in Clemson.
I think that's Stoops' problem as well. Step aside and take our last ad break.
This episode of the Under Review podcast is brought to you by Chuck's Heating and Air. Chuck has over 40 years of service and experience with residential services. He services most makes and models. He is Alabama licensed, bonded, and insured, and locally owned and operated. Are you hot and you're supposed to be cool? Are you cool and you're supposed to be hot? Then you've got a problem. Call Chuck. Area code 256-892-2757. Again, 256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air.
256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air for all your heating and air needs. Now we're getting into our 5 games of the week here. A lot on our plate right here. And Oklahoma brought in Ole Miss. Ole Miss stuttered a little bit, but finds a way to do it 34-26.
I thought Ole Miss was going to run away with it right there after the second half. I mean, the second quarter there. I think they went up maybe 10, and then had either a turnover or something like that had occurred. And then I flipped the game, and I come back, and Oklahoma was winning. I think it was like 26-25 or something like that. I was like, well, okay, maybe this game.
Yeah, 26-25, and then 9 straight points inside the fourth quarter prevails Ole Miss as the Rebels win 34-26. Trinidad Chambliss 24 for 44, 315, 1 touchdown. John Mateer on the other side 17 for 31, 223, and 1 touchdown as well. Kawan Lacey here 26 for 78, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Very shifty cut.
They only had 2 guys run the ball.
Yep.
Trinidad Chambliss was the other one, though. But on the receiving, you never know who's going to have a great game. And this week it was Winston Watkins, 4 receptions, 111 yards, no touchdowns. And then TJ Daugherty on the defense, 6 tackles, 3 solos. And that was about it for him. Anybody else stand out? Yeah, I can see that dude's name. Flipping over to Oklahoma, Xavier Robinson, 9 carries for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really a back that came out of nowhere, being on that bench with Jaden Ott and Troy Blaylock and Javonte Barnes. But had a big game for those Sooners here and almost led them to a victory. Just a fourth quarter malfunction here for the Oklahoma Sooners, not getting into the end zone. And then Isaiah Santega III, 6 receptions, 131 yards, and 1 touchdown. Deion Burks, 4 catches, 32 yards. I think Santega is the best wide receiver that Oklahoma has this year. I would have said last year to have been Deion Burks, but times have changed. He also had a fumble. Santega did. But Kip Lewis, 12 tackles, 8 solos, and a half tackle for loss. 1.5 tackle for losses. No interceptions. Again, I think Ole Miss got lucky here. I think Ole Miss survives another week.
Absolutely. John Mateer, he's not first couple weeks, for I'd say 3 weeks of the season, right before he got hurt. So I haven't ever saying Heisman leader, absolutely. He was playing the lights out ball. But the past couple of weeks, he's really, not struggled, but he's not had those big time plays as he was having. Because right there at the end of the game against Ole Miss, he was overthrowing receivers, making bad passes. Pretty open balls, I would say, but just overthrowing them by 3 or 4 foot. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if that injury just hurt his confidence or what really happened with him, but he was having a very good season.
That he was. Like I said, it could have been the injury. I think it was wholeheartedly the injury that really kind of messed him up. I think I've said it multiple times, I think he rushed his rehab. He came back too early. They took a big loss to Texas.
That hurt him a lot.
Always hurts losing a rivalry.
Especially as bad as they lost it.
Yeah.
There's your defensive game.
And that it was, Missouri 10, Vanderbilt 17. As Vanderbilt helps their playoff odds, as they got a big game coming up against Texas this week. But Missouri loses Bo Perbula. Could be possibly out for the season.
That was bad.
I had an update on him, don't know where it went. But
it looked bad anyways.
Oh, yeah, that it did. But, further testing revealed a bad sprain and a ligament damage, but no surgery necessary. There's a chance, even an outside chance, he could return during the regular season this year.
That's good.
If he can return from Missouri, I think they're done with the playoffs. I think their chance has come and gone.
Back-to-back losses are going to hurt them to Bama and then Vanderbilt.
Well, they should have lost Auburn too. So
that's true. So yeah, 7-point win against Auburn was not.
It wasn't on my bingo card. But, a loss here, I think it pretty much puts them out of any SEC championship playoff contention. Unless they go on a tear, they got a rough schedule coming up. I want to say.
They need to have some convincing wins, though. That's what's really going to help them. Not no 3 to 7 point wins. They need double-digit wins.
But that's the thing with Missouri, though. It's their wins. They got Texas A&M. They got Mississippi State.
They got to beat A&M and Oklahoma to get in. And that Mississippi State game's going to be a rough game. Mississippi State's a scrappy team.
Yeah, that's Texas and
And they're going to Oklahoma. It's going to be another scrappy game.
Again, coming into this week, I didn't say this could have been the game of the week, but it definitely could have been our game of the week. Matt Zollers even came in. He played great. True freshman, 14 for 23, 138, 1 touchdown. Ahmad Hardy, 20 carries for 97 yards. Kevin Coleman even got in on the rushing action, too, for 44 yards. And then also had 7 receptions for 109 yards. And then Josiah Trotter is actually helping this Missouri defense. 9 tackles, 3 solos. Flipping over on the Vanderbilt Commodore side, Diego Pavia, 10 for 19, 129 yards and 1 interception. Cedric Alexander, 10 carries, 27 yards. And Pavia only rushed the ball 8 times for 20 yards and had that 1 touchdown. I think with Pavia, though, him only having 8 rushes, this game really shows you when he's not running the ball.
He's really, if you can shut his pass game down, if you can shut his run game down and make him throw the ball, he's going to throw interceptions. The Bama game's a testament of that. They really put a smile on him and then force him to throw the ball, and that's when he makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But he did have, I will say this, he had an absolute great play called back that, I believe it was holding, that he made like 4 defenders miss on the red zone he scored on. But other than that, he didn't have that great of a game besides that he had the 1 more rushing touchdown.
And Brian Longwell had 13 tackles and 3 solos. Again, I don't think this Vanderbilt team, in a couple weeks, Auburn goes down to Nashville. I don't think this Vanderbilt team is good, but they got a good game coming up next week with Texas coming in. Or
going to Texas.
Yeah, they're going to
That's
Texas.
going to be a test for them, I think. Them going down there to Texas. I think Vanderbilt can beat Texas. Do I think they're going to beat Texas? I think Texas wins at home.
Again, it depends. If Arch Manning is out and he don't play, and Matthew Caldwell, if you follow this podcast, I've been high on Matthew Caldwell since he transferred here. I thought he could have been the starter, then I realized they still had Arch. But I think if Matthew Caldwell can come in, I think he can actually lead Texas to a victory next week.
Think with it.
And a heartache, Mississippi State, 45-38. Texas takes it here.
I'd say Mississippi State just gave them this game.
Yeah,
And you're up plenty to win the game.
I think that was up 14.
I believe they were up 2 possessions, like you said, in the fourth quarter, and then just played the worst football I've ever seen.
Let them score
24.
24.
24 unanswered point. Well, they scored 1 touchdown to Texas' 24 in the fourth quarter. That's unacceptable.
Yep.
And I think it's been 2 years since Mississippi State's won a SEC game.
2023.
And their coach has never won an SEC game.
Yeah. But I think Jeff Lebby is the right coaching decision for Mississippi State. Again, Fluff Ballpool was still out this game. I think whenever they're able to bring him back, if he was back these last 2 games, I think they would have won convincingly. And it hurts to say that one player does not make a team. But like I said, Davin Booth was still going to have a great game. He had 24 carries for 99 yards. I had him over 100 yards, but, like I said, Arch Manning did get hurt in the overtime. Yeah. 29 for 46, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like I said, Matthew Caldwell, 1 pass, 10 yards, touchdown to win the game inside overtime. Wisner, 12 carries, 41 yards. Arch Manning had 10 carries for 6 yards and 1 touchdown. Ryan Wingo, 5 catches, 184 yards, but no touchdowns.
He's a very good receiver.
I have him on my fantasy team.
Very good receiver.
And then Emmett Mosley, the 5th, 4 catches, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Really helped this team prevail. And then Anthony Hill Jr., 10 tackles, 6 solos, 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for losses. McDonald, 14 tackles, 5 solos. I think this Texas team, they finished up with 7 total sacks this game.
Sure.
Mississippi State's defensive line is absolutely the defensive line that showed up for Auburn against Oklahoma. It's that bad. I think Blake Shippen is a good quarterback, but behind a bad offensive line, even a good quarterback turns into a mediocre one.
Absolutely.
Blake Shippen did go 26 for 42, 381, 4 touchdowns. Davin Booth, like I said, 25 24 for 99. Davin Booth also had 3 catches for 85 yards and 1 touchdown. And then Brennan Thompson, 6 catches, 76 yards, and 2 touchdowns through the air. And then Jared Manning, 14 tackles, 8 solos, 2 tackles for losses. And then Darren Galoot, 6 tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 tackle for losses, and 1.5 sacks. Again, Mississippi State's close. I think they're going to get a victory this year inside the SEC.
They're not a bad team. They're really not bad.
They're really this good.
I think the last 2 weeks have been heartbreakers, is it not? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Florida game was a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
They played way in for the first half.
They could have beat Texas.
Yeah.
Or Tennessee, excuse me.
Yes, Tennessee. They had Tennessee beat.
Yep.
And it's kind of like the Auburn. The losses they have in the SEC this year, except A&M, have been absolute heartbreakers for them. The Texas, Florida, and Tennessee games have been just heartbreakers for them.
I think this week they're going to Arkansas. Like I said, they can win that game.
Absolutely.
They can win that game. Arkansas is a good team, but again,
Depends on if Taylor Green shows up or not.
if it's Taylor Green that showed up against Auburn, Mississippi State can definitely win that. I don't know about Georgia just yet. Again, same thing with Missouri.
Is it at Georgia?
No.
Oh, it's at Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then same thing with the 11 a.m. kickoff on Black Friday
They can beat that Ole Miss team.
with Ole Miss. Yeah, I think with a big rivalry, could be bowl contention on the line. Black Friday going to be a great game to watch out for. I think they can do it, but we're just going to have to wait and see. The battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, Michigan 31, Michigan State 20 is the interstate game of the week.
I actually didn't watch this game, sadly, but
Well, it was on during a lot of other games. Like I said, it was that 6:30 nightcap game on NBC when we were all tied up with Texas A&M and
a lot was going on at that time.
Tennessee. I was watching Tennessee and Kentucky at this time. Flipping over between that and the game of the week we have between A&M and LSU. Bryce Underwood went 8 for 17, 86 yards. But it's okay because Justice Haynes went 26 for 152 and 2 touchdowns.
I still can't believe how well they did.
I mean, and then their backup, Jordan Marshall, 15 carries, 110 yards for 1 touchdown.
Everybody got included in that.
They didn't need their passing game. And I think that really helps a young quarterback like Bryce Underwood.
You got to have a run game with a young quarterback. You have to in case he needs. I mean, those couple plays to calm down and just get his composure level. You got to have a run game when it comes to quarterback. Bryce Underwood, he is very talented, but I don't know. Michigan's always been a run first team, and
I think Justice Haynes fits that
absolutely
mold perfectly at Michigan.
Oh, absolutely. That's one reason he left Alabama. That we wouldn't get the touches that he needed. And
was anybody besides Milroe?
Last year, absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm a firm believer on that. No, sadly, that offense is built all around Milroe, and it shouldn't have been.
But Michigan takes the Paul Bunyan axe for this year, 31-20, convincing win and a big game for Justice Haynes. Now it's time for the Under Review Podcast Game of the Week, the last game we got on slate for you.
Blowout.
And a blowout indeed inside the SEC Conference, a 49-25 Death Valley massacre as Texas A&M just shoves all the eggs out of the LSU basket this week.
I believe LSU fans were really gunning for Brian Kelly today.
I've seen a lot of...
Because if this was at A&M, okay.
Yeah.
But you're at Death Valley here. It's just like the Alabama game last year when I think Bama won 52-13 inside Death Valley, and Alabama wasn't bad last year, but they were 52-13 better than LSU at Death Valley. Absolutely not. It's like, I remember early 2000s, mid-2000s, the night games at LSU, you did not want to go to LSU and play a night game. And now it's just like there's no effect on stuff now.
Yeah, and I think, with that being said, like I said, knocks the eggs out of the baskets. I think that all my eggs are now inside my Texas A&M basket. Like I said, this game could have been could and would have been an SEC championship rematch if the teams on paper played like they were supposed to. These two teams on paper have one of the best teams, regardless. But I think A&M leads more to that side now, as they're still undefeated inside the SEC. They're number 3 inside the rankings. And Marcel Reed with 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions, and went 12 for 21.
92.4 QBR. It's
Well, I don't think QBR is not a real thing, but it's not. But Marcel Reed, 13 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Reuben Owens, the second, 8 carries for 44 yards, no touchdowns. Amari Daniels, 4 catches, 23 yards. Like I said, somebody's going to run for 100 yards this game. And between him, Owens, Daniels, and Le'Veon Moss, who's injured right now, you never know who it's going to be. Marcel Reed does it this week. Not a lot of passing this game. Like I said, 12 passes. Ashton Bethel Roman, 1 catch, 47 yards. Casey Concepcion, 3 catches, 45 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Mario Carver, 4 catches, 42 yards, and no touchdowns. Des Ricks, 4 tackles, 4 solos. Marco Jones, 5 tackles, 2 solos, half sack, half tackle for loss. And then Torian York, 4 tackles, 1 solo. I think this A&M defense is really good, but,
I've said it since the beginning of the season. Garrett Nussmeier has been overrated
I
since
didn't even know Michael Van Buren came into play.
they come in the fourth quarter as they pulled Nussmeier.
Oh, okay. But Nussmeier went 22 for 53, 168, 1 touchdown. I don't think it's Nussmeier's the problem. I think it's more Brian Kelly's the problem here.
I mean, I think Kelly has a bigger problem playing in it, absolutely. But I didn't agree with the Garrett Nussmeier Heisman talks at the beginning of the year. I watched Garrett Nussmeier throw 4 picks against Alabama last year at Death Valley. And it's just, he's never been consistent for me. Every game I've tuned in to watch LSU, he's always been, he's all right, but nothing sticks. Like Marcel Reed, he led that offense last night. I mean, led it. And I just didn't see that as a 50-year senior of Garrett Nussmeier. I really didn't.
And like I said, Michael Van Buren, 3 for 4 for 50 yards and 1 touchdown. Harlem Berry, the true freshman, 9 for 59, 1 touchdown. Caden Durham, 5 for 36, no touchdowns. And then Van Buren, 5 for 7, no touchdowns. Barian Brown, the Kentucky transfer, 4 catches for 60 yards. Aaron Anderson, 5 catches for 59. And then Trey Davis Green, 6 catches for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. And then A.J. Halsey, who's actually probably with Weeks on the bench right now, with Weeks being hurt, he's probably the best guy right now. Halsey, 12 tackles, 2 solos, 1 pass deflection. West Weeks, 7 tackles, 3 solos, 1 tackle for loss. But it just shocks me that this LSU team has been this bad this season.
I think they lose 2 more.
Who they got coming up?
They got us next.
Yeah.
And Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they can lose.
I think they lose to us in Tuscaloosa, and I think they lose at Oklahoma.
Well, the Oklahoma game is inside LSU.
It's at Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Come on.
I think they go 2-2. I think they can beat Arkansas at home. Maybe. And then, I really hope they beat Western Kentucky. But
If they don't beat Western Kentucky, something wrong. But, like you said, anything can happen inside the SEC.
yes. But I see them going 2-2 to end the year.
And it's crazy because, like I said, I had them being slotted inside the SEC championship game for this
Like
season.
with Clemson at the beginning of the year, both of them, I think, were ranked top 5 first game of the year. And then LSU comes in there. They barely beat Clemson. Everybody's high on them, which, I mean,
At
yes,
the time,
yes. On paper, them and Clemson both should have had, no doubt, playoff teams this year.
right.
Especially Clemson returning. They pretty much returned their whole starting defense, but it's just been a down year. I think this might be Brian Kelly's last year.
It should be, and like I said, we never know what's going to happen inside the SEC. With two coaches already being fired, there's about 3 or 4 more on the hot seats.
I'm still wondering where James Franklin's going to end up.
Do you think he comes back to the SEC?
If he does, I don't know. I'm thinking Florida's going after Lane Kiffin.
Florida's going after anybody that can coach.
But it would be a bad hire because Franklin, he does win. He does win games. I will say that. Well, I say that he lost 2 that he should not have lost up there before He was fired at Penn State.
UCLA
But-
Northwestern.
Yeah, but the big games it's always got him. He's never won big game. I think he won his first year. They beat Ohio State, and that was 2016. I think
So it was like right after he left.
2016 or 2017. It was right when he took the Penn State job. They beat Ohio State, and I think that was his only big win.
Good. He wasn't beating.
He beat the small schools. He beat the ones he was supposed to beat.
He wasn't beating the Michigans. He wasn't beating the Ohio States. He wasn't beating the Oregons. Wasn't barely even beating the Nebraskas when he did. And, Nebraska's mid-table at best.
Yeah.
But, again, that's all we have for you. This episode 82, week 10, I want to say it was. Wasn't it? Week 9. Week 10's next week. Got a lot on the table for you. Justin Lee will be showing up with us back on that. Marty will be back on Tuesday. I want to thank Jeremy for showing up and being here. Also, I want to thank Hayden Coker, HCS Media, every Thursday, 7 o'clock, live from Buffalo Wild Wings. Catch him on that Facebook Live. Thank you to Hunter Brassfield, Nicholas Adams at the Dadpod, the Unreviewed Podcast creative team with Cody Miller, Jud Dickinson, and Brandon Trammell. And like we always say here, God loves you and we love you here at the Unreviewed Podcast. And we'll catch you next time when we go under the bottom.